Stephanie. I'm an RN in the critical care float pool here at St. Luke's. There are several shifts where I go home and I'm almost in tears because of how inadequate the care I've been able to give is, just with the sheer number of patients I'm expected to care for. Well, on night shifts, sometimes when you work on the west side of the hospital, like the medical surgical floors, an RN is responsible for up to 13 patients at a time. You have an LPN with you, but even between the two of you, you cannot be in 13 patients' rooms at the same time. I think that the families and visitors that are there most of the time with really, really sick patients, I think they kind of understand a little bit more than the general public. But I think a lot of people look at us and say, hey, these nurses, they just want more money. What's wrong? They've got jobs, get over it. My response is, every day I come to work, my job is on the line, because my license is on the line due to the fact that we have unsafe staffing ratios. Every decision I make has a life or death consequence to it. I see a patient and I see something that's just not quite right. It's my responsibility to call that doctor, whether it's 3 in the morning and I'm going to get an earful, or whether it's, they're sitting at the desk and say, hey, can you come back? Something's not right now. All the hospitals are in the same exact boat, so no matter where you go, you've got nurses who are running their butts off trying to take care of you and aren't provided the adequate tools.
Sure, my name is Therese Presley. I'm the assistant head nurse on hospice palliative care at St. Mary's Medical Center in Duluth, Minnesota. And my unit, since I've been there since 94, has increased from 5 beds to 6 beds. And we have 2 swing beds. And like today, I had an empty bed, so I take an oncology patient. My sister unit is St. Mary's Oncology, and we work well with those nurses, but they're robbing Peter to pay Paul. There's not enough nurses on 3 East, and yet I'm supposed to cross-train with 3 East. So there's not enough nurses at this time to cover. Yesterday I had to work a 12-hour shift, 3 a.m. to 3 p.m. because my night nurse was down with a bad back, and I believe that's from lifting, and pulling. There's not enough help. I have been on the unit myself, 1 RN, and I had an aide, and we had 6 patients. And I had 2 narcotic drips, and I had a patient on a vent, and I had a death. And you cannot be one nurse, one professional with an aide for that acuity of patient. If I am doing blood sugars, 4 times a day, and monitoring the narcotic drips and taking care of the vent, I can't do that anymore with 1 professional for 6 patients. Can't do it. Management really should spend a few days on the units. I mean it. When I see a change is when a manager's or a VP's mother comes in or a father comes in, and they then see firsthand, they're sitting there at the bedside and they see what's going on. That's what it takes.